So one thing doctors should stop doing immediately if they want to move forward.
We tell ourselves now it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe, and it will never be safe.
Like, what is the lie doctors tell themselves?
The lie doctors tell themselves is, I will start when. I will start when I finish my exams. I will start when this happens. I will start when that happens. I'll start next month. I'll start when I get a job. I'll start when my kids have gone to nursery, and then they never do. You can be in debt today and be a millionaire tomorrow, but the time missed yesterday you can never get back.
Welcome to the Dental Lens podcast. Today we are joined by Dr. Nick from UK. She is a consultant anesthetist and a team doctor at Fulham FC, clinical editor at the BMJ, and founder of Portfolio Launch, where she helps doctors build income and careers beyond the clinic. But this is not just an inspiring story episode. We are going deep on the practical steps, the real decisions, and the tools that help doctors take control of their careers. If you're a doctor and a healthcare professional or anyone feeling trapped in a system that wasn't built for you, stay with us. Welcome, Dr. Nick. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you inviting me onto today's podcast.
I appreciate you accepting the invite. Thank you so much. And walk us through your story, like being an anesthetist. What was the turning point where you started the portfolio career?
So for me, so I trained in the UK. I went to medical school in the UK, and I did my anaesthetic training in the UK, and I've been working as an anaesthetist for several years now. But it really got to a point where I realized that the system within the UK definitely, and to be fair, across most of the world, for doctors, dentists, and so on, it's a time for money system. And it means that, like, if you ever want to or need to increase your income, that you have to give more time to do that. And so it got me interested in leverage and being able to use my skills and my skill set to do other things that I not only enjoyed, but also could bring an alternative income stream. And so that is what I did for myself, and then developed a system which I call Portfolio OS to help other doctors and dentists and healthcare workers do exactly the same thing. So really and truly, it was just understanding the underlying system. It didn't really work in our favor. It works for the system, which is great, but for the individual, I kind of feel like it doesn't work well. It works well to an extent, but not when you need it for yourself as an individual.
Yes. Actually, having a second income or a second career is like a cushioning effect for the doctors. So, like, apart from portfolio OS, what other kinds of income you have built for yourself, doctor?
Okay, yeah, so that's a good question. So, outside of Portfolio S, which is a consulting firm for doctors and healthcare professionals to be able to create income for themselves, I
Hmm.
also have a portfolio career. So, I work as a doctor in the UK as an anaesthetist. I also
Hmm.
work for Fulham Football Club, which you've mentioned, as a match day doctor, and I am on the editorial board at the British Medical Journal. I also invest some of my money. So basically, what I've found is that there's four main ways that you can leverage or increase your income.
Hmm.
The first way is the career progression, which most of us are familiar with. So we all
Hmm.
go through our careers and progress, and the higher up you go, the more income you receive. So that is one way in which I gain income. The second
Hmm.
way is capital investments. And so if you have money or you earn money and you take that money and you invest it into maybe the stock market or into property or into venture like a business, then you can
Hmm.
generate income that way and get your money to work for you. So I also do a bit of that too. And those are what I would call the sort of slower ways to create or store wealth.
Hmm.
And then the other two are, business development, or what people would call side hustles amongst us as
Hmm.
professionals. And so, in terms of businesses, I am involved in a couple of other businesses which are a bit more hands off, where I essentially send my money and some of my expertise
Hmm.
to those businesses for them to be able to develop as well. So I have my fingers in a few different pies. Yeah.
That is so good. So when you Speak to a doctor, you can speak from experience, like how you build your own portfolio, you can guide them to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of doctors feel like, oh, they really need to be motivated or they need to go on a course to be able to do things. But I think that's the medical way of thinking that's coming through. And actually what you need is just to be able to take action, identify your skills and solve problems essentially. And that's what I help doctors or healthcare professionals to be able to do. And yeah, like you said, I've done it myself, and I've been working with doctors for a couple of years now to be able to do that too.
So when a doctor comes to you completely overwhelmed and paralyzed by choice, what is the very first exercise or question you give them to get clarity?
Well, in terms of I'll give a generic answer because it is depending on the individual where they're at, the stage that they're at, their current skill set, how far along in their career. So it is very tailored. But my general answer to that would
Mm,
be actually to slow down, actually to stop, to
mm,
pause, because there are a lot of options available to doctors because we have a varied skill set. But I think it's
mm,
really important to narrow things down to one thing. I'm a simple person, and so I strip it down,
mm,
and I make it very simple. What is it that you are interested in doing? We start from there.
mm,
What are you actually interested in doing? Now, what you're interested in doing is not always the most viable path because you might not have the skill set. I might be interested in going to the moon, but that doesn't mean
mm,
I can make a business out of going to the moon. But usually, if you can start with something that you actually enjoy, it's easier to see it
mm.
through because most things do actually work. It's just that we don't have the tenacity to see it through because we don't care enough. And so I would say start with something you enjoy or care enough about to see through.
You always say in your post that you doctors need a decision before a plan. How does someone make a
Exactly.
decision? Yeah.
How does somebody make a decision?
Yes, like they don't know what are the outcomes of this thing. How can they
Mm-hmm.
make a decision confidently that if we pursue it, then it is going to be beneficial for us?
Mm. So the thing is, the reason why making a decision is very important is because if it's the wrong decision, and you make that decision, you'll realize it's wrong quicker than if you didn't make the decision and then you never know. And so, when it comes to making decisions, you cannot say you've got to look at it like this, right? There's two outcomes. Either it works or it doesn't work. Okay. And if it
Mm,
works, great. And if it doesn't work, you learn from it, which is also great. But if you don't make a decision, nothing ever happens. So you don't know if it works, you don't know if it doesn't work, and you haven't moved forward. And so making the decision is what gives you the momentum to either learn
mm.
from that
Mistake.
what people would call a mistake. I don't see it as a mistake, but learn from it, or you get the outcome you want and everyone is happy. But along the way, nothing is
Mm,
lost because you learn from those things, right? Like if I log into this call and I have
mm.
difficulty logging into the call, guess what? The next time I log into the call, I won't have difficulty logging
Yes,
in. Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
yes, yes. Like many doctors are perfectionists and they're evidence backed, but you're moving into a side venture or any business of your own. There is no certainty. So, like,
Yes.
what's a practical way to overcome? I will start when I'm ready. Trap.
So the a practical way to is to get somebody who holds you accountable. Okay,
Mm,
so I will start when I'm ready is a trap that we create for ourselves for us to feel safer. Okay, as
mm,
human beings, we don't want danger. We don't want risk as doctors, as dentists, as healthcare professionals. Risk is something we are always running away from. And so we tell ourselves now it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe, and it will never be safe. And so
mm,
the best way to get out of that trap is to get accountability. There's been studies that have shown that if you have an idea and you keep it in your head, only
mm,
10% of people see those ideas through. If you write your idea, that jumps up to about 40%. But if you tell
mm,
someone your idea, if you tell
mm,
someone, I have this idea, this is what I want to do, your
mm,
chances of of seeing it through jump to as high as 90%. And so I would say holding yourself accountable, putting it out there, or telling someone, or getting an accountability coach, those will help you from being stagnant and procrastinating.
That is true. Kind of like you need a friend to get pull you over to the next step.
Yes.
You have helped a GP earn her first income outside medicine within 90 days. So,
Yes.
what were the concrete steps in month one that made that possible?
So I use a system called, which is the system that I use in the portfolio. It's the portfolio operating system.
Mm,
And it with this person in question, um,
mm,
she was somebody who had made that decision, right? So that was the first step. So that made things easier because you've made the decision, and then we implemented phase one of Portfolio OS, which is to get super clear on her skill set, super clear on the what she's good at, what she's capable at, and how that can translate into an asset. Okay,
mm,
and the way we do that is we validated her offer. So she has an
mm,
offer, something a problem she's able to solve with the skill set that she has, and we tested
mm,
it. We tested it out on the world, or the market, as it were, and she got good feedback. And it was like, okay, cool, we've validated this. And so
mm,
she then put it to market, and she got clients because it was validated beforehand that, yeah, this will probably work because she's got good interest. And so we created an offer together, and she took that to market, or she took that to market using the system, and she got her
mm,
first paid client within that short period of time. Considering, this is somebody who's only known medicine before, who had resigned from her role and wasn't really clear on what was going to happen, but she did have the right attitude. She had made that decision. She would show up every week that we were, working together, with the right
mm.
attitude. Everything I asked her to do, she would do it. And so that's what I think got her the results.
And you also say that earning the first £1,000 beside your clinical income is the milestone. I think, is it the mindset that changes? Yes, it is possible that we can earn from this.
Absolutely. So what tends to keep doctors stuck? I've worked with tons of doctors, and what really, really keeps doctors stuck is that in their mind, they're like, how will this work? Will it work?
Mm,
We've been used to, like, being told, okay, go and do this and go and do that, and then you get paid for it, but you've never been really involved in the commerce of things. And
mm,
um, so getting over that mental barrier, like when you make your first £1,000 out of nowhere, it feels like it's out of nowhere. Like, how did I do
mm,
this? Then you understand that it's possible to make 10,000 and 100,000, and so on and so
mm,
forth. And so that's why I say the first thousand is the hardest, and that's actually where I enjoy taking people from zero to that 1,000, because then the 1,000 to 10,000 is so much easier. And the transformation from that zero to one is fantastic.
So, doctor, you have built your portfolio intentionally, or it was like, serendipity that you came into each of these roles one opportunity at a time?
I think it depends which way you look at it. On the one hand, I made a conscious decision quite early on in my
Mm,
career that I was going to
mm,
do things my way. So we had some strikes when I was very new to medicine. And at that point in time, that's when I started to realize that this system is not built for the individual. The system is built to favor the system, right? Which most systems are built in that way. And so I figured out very early on that actually, even if we strike, even if we do these things, ultimately we don't hold much power. And so I wanted to create power for myself, and that meant doing what I enjoyed, and taking my medical career on my terms, because I'd only seen it done in the system way, like, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this and I have to do that. And I was like, I'm not going to allow it to overtake my life. So in some respects, I had decided early on I was going to take my career and do it my way. In terms of
mm,
in terms of me doing things outside of medicine, there's no surprise to me that that's what I ended up doing. But the
mm,
different roles that came my way, um, I wouldn't say that I actively said, okay, I want to go and work at Fulham Football Club. They were roles that found me at the right time because I had that intention, I think, to have a portfolio career.
It's basically like what is it? The law of attraction. That when you have the mindset that you need an opportunity and it will come and fall in your lap by some way, the universe will work its charm through it. I think having that decision, you keep your mind open for the other opportunities. Otherwise, you mind is like in the same linear pathway, just finish school, do the job, and then retire. Having that mindset is important. Like you have to do something other than the career. And one of the things I feel leads to it is the curiosity. Like when doctors have curiosity of other things, like they do not make a wall around them to sit in it only. If they have a curiosity also, they can explore various things while still on the job.
Absolutely.
So what's the most common mistake doctors make when they try to build income outside medicine, the thing that keeps them stuck?
I would say the most common mistake is probably trying to get everything perfect before you begin. So having everything mapped out and having such a watertight plan. Life doesn't work like that. Not in the commercial world. You can't plan it to a T in the way you might plan in medicine. And so you have to account for things going wrong and, changing very quickly. So I would say probably waiting for perfection.
Yes. Like yeah, not making a decision to follow through, as you said earlier.
Yeah, they're linked. They are linked. But it's more than that because even when doctors do make the decision, like say, for example, a doctor says, yeah, I want to make a decision and I want to make a platform for other doctors to be able to pass their exams, for example. 9 out of 10 doctors are then going to spend another year trying to make the website perfect, and it doesn't need to be perfect. What it needs is you need a minimum viable product. You just need it to be good enough to start so you can get feedback and improve it. But most doctors will think, oh, I can't do this until it's perfect. That's what I meant. Yeah.
And most of the doctors also undercharge their services, or give their knowledge away for free. So how should a doctor figure out what their knowledge is actually worth, and how do they start charging for it?
So I mean that's a very that's actually a very tricky question to answer on on this podcast. But what I would say is that yes, you are right. Systemically, doctors usually are not involved in the finances of medicine. In most careers, if you're a lawyer, you bill. If you are working in a sales team, if you work in a bank, if you work in a phone shop, you are directly facing and used to asking for people for money or increasing revenue or increasing the turnover of your business. But in medicine is very different. We have or in dentistry or in whichever part of healthcare you're in, we we don't always have direct access to billing. Dentists in the UK then anyway definitely have more access to that, but generally speaking, we don't have access to that. And so when it comes to charging for our services, it feels strange because um, you have been used to you sacrifice years at uni, you sacrifice years, nights and weekends. And so we undercharge for that reason because we feel undeserving of it. Now, the way to price your value or understand your value is to do the work. When you do the work and you realize how much work you've put in, you realize actually I deserve something for this. Secondly, you kind of have to respond to the market. So you could wake up tomorrow and say I'm worth £1 million, but if nobody pays you £1 million, then you're probably not worth £1 million. And so you have to respond to the market. And then you have to decide very early on what you want to charge for. Are you charging for your expertise? Are you charging for the service? Are you charging for the product? Or are you charging for your time? And then that should guide you and help you to come up with a price.
But how does a doctor choose which path to pursue first? Like, what's the decision making filter you would recommend? Like, if they have two, three options like consulting, coaching, or medical writing, like most of the doctors, when they move away from clinic, they go into research. So how do you make that decision? Like with
So it's not a decision I make. It's a decision that I allow doctors to make for themselves, doctors I work with to make for themselves. And yes, we do
mm,
have, I do have, activities that we undertake to uncover that for themselves so that they are clear what is best for them. But it's a very individual thing. And so a lot of the time it's based on their identity, their experience, and what they're optimizing for. So what is their lifestyle? What is the reason that they want this alternative? Is it for income? Is it for fulfillment? Is it for family reasons or lifestyle reasons? It is very varied. And so it has to be optimized for the individual in front of me. And that's part of the work I do in uncovering what is best for them.
yeah. I know you need to decide how many hours you are going to give to the side hustle.
I mean, yes. So, like I said, there are different ways that you can increase your income. One of them is a side hustle. One is the business development. One is capital
Mm,
investment, and the other is career progression. And so, you've just got to decide how serious this is for you. If it is just like a short term, I only want to do this for 6 months, then that's up to you. If it's something you want to build into real depth,
yeah.
then yeah, it might come with sacrificing a bit more time. But the thing with the commercial world or the business world versus the medical world is that
Mm,
you get compounding returns. And so if I create something like you've created this podcast, you could put this podcast out and this could stay in the ether or stay on the internet for the next 10 years and continue
mm,
to generate views. Whereas
mm,
if I went to work today and I anesthetize somebody, that's just one day. It's not going to continue to happen. I would have to keep going to work in order to do that. And so
mm.
the thing with building a business or building an alternative income is that you can optimize it for compounding returns.
Like, what is the minimum number of hours per week someone needs to start building a portfolio career alongside a clinical job? And how should those hours be spent?
The minimum hour is one. You only need 1 hour a week to start
Only.
anything. Only 1 hour. One focused power hour. I call it the power hour. And if you use one
Mm,
hour a week to build anything, then that's, you will start to see that, you didn't need as much time as you thought.
mm. Sometimes, people, doctors are especially burnt out a lot, and especially I have heard in NHS that it is very taxing for you guys. So, like someone who has already no mental energy left to do after their clinical job, like what's a practical system for making progress on a side career when you're running on empty?
So there's two parts to that question. One is if you're running on empty and you don't have 1 hour a week to spare, then something's really wrong. And maybe
Mm,
you need to look at, you know, maybe cutting down your hours or, taking a break or taking a step back. Maybe you might be burnt out. Okay. But 1 hour a
mm,
week, is in anybody's schedule is possible. Okay. You can oversleep by 1 hour. You can go to the gym for an hour, you can scroll on your phone for an hour. And so at 1 hour a week is definitely possible. The practical
mm,
step is to start with 1 hour rather than saying, you have to give 20 hours a week to something or 50 hours. Start with 1 hour. If you start 1 hour a week and then you go up to 1 hour a day, and
mm,
then before you know it, you're doing 5 hours a week. 5 times 52, or let's say 5 times 50 for a holiday, that
mm,
is 250 hours. Okay. And 250 hours, that's like 9 weeks worth of work, right? In a year. That's two
mm,
months.
mm. But
Yeah.
it's like when you start doing this thing, and as things progresses, you get more interest rather than it's just living in our head. Like when you see it taking shape, I think people, doctors and anyone will get motivated to continue it further.
Absolutely. And that's why the point here is that you start, because when you start with 1 hour and you enjoy it and it's something you care about, guess what? Next week you're going to give it 2 hours. And then before you know it,
Mhm.
you're off to the races.
So right now you are doing four concurrent jobs like consultant anesthetist, football club doctor, BMJ editor, and running a business now. So what does your actual weekly schedule look like? How do you protect time for each without burning out? Like all of these are active incomes. You are putting in hours and you are putting in the work. So how do you protect yourself from burnout?
So to be really honest with you, it's actually a lot easier than you'd think because
Mm-hmm.
first of all, with the BMJ work, it is remote, it is digital. I don't have to physically be anywhere. So it is remote work. And as you can imagine, I've been doing it for 5 years now. And so it is very easy for me to see things within the journal. And so that work doesn't actually take me very long.
Mm-hmm.
The consulting work that I do as well with doctors, again, that is digital and it is remote. I can do it anytime from anywhere in the world. And I probably, I spend a few hours a day, maybe doing that. And then my clinical work is probably what takes the most because it takes my time. So I have to physically be somewhere to administer anesthesia. I can't do that remotely. And so that's actually what takes the most time. But again, I've been doing it for several years. And so the mental load isn't as high because I'm quite used to it. It's just the time element that I'm physically in a place and I can't leave that place. And so in terms of your question, like how do I manage it? First of all, you get good at what you're doing so that it doesn't take as much effort and as much energy. Take regular breaks. And so, as an NHS consultant, you get about pretty much about 6 weeks in the year of time off. So you take regular breaks. And then, like I said, with the BMJ and my consulting work, it's pretty much I can do it as and when I want. And then there are things that I enjoy. So, you could scroll on your phone. If you enjoy scrolling on your phone, you could do it for 4 hours and not really think about it. And so when you enjoy doing something, it makes it easier too.
Like as a doctor, we have multiple skills, but they are themselves not aware of them. So, what do you think these skills from clinical medicine that can directly translate into the business?
Oh, so there are so many skills that doctors have that can translate into businesses. So many. So from communication skills to analysis to sales skills, negotiating to creating curriculum to design. There are so many skills that translate into medicine. I could sit here for the whole hour and tell you different skills. But it is about leaning into the skills that you are actually good at and like and enjoy. So, I find that, for example, I may be good at negotiating because I've picked up that skill in medicine, but I might not like negotiating. It might be something that I don't like doing. And so it is about identifying what you actually like doing and then putting those skills to good use. What we need to remember as professionals is that we have been trained to do something. A lot of the commercial world haven't necessarily, they've gone to uni and done degrees that have given them information, but haven't trained them to do something. We have been trained in the art of people. We have been trained in the art of communication, and we've been trained in the art of problem solving. And that is something that is unique to us, I think, as professionals.
Yes. And handling the stress and the that is a major factor as healthcare people like, and communication skills. These two are transferable to any job anywhere in the world.
Exactly, exactly. Those two skills, handling stress, communication, and problem solving,
Yes.
like we're already ahead of like 90% of the population.
Uh, so your workshops are online, doctor, or they are in a physical place?
So my workshops are online, but I am holding my first physical meetup uh, this May or May 29th in London. And so if anybody wants to sign up to that, they absolutely can. But most of my workshops, which I hold once a month, are done online. And that is where I walk you through my exact system for how doctors, dentists can move from zero to their first or next £1,000 worth of income, and how basically how they can do that. So yes, it is online, but there is also, I am going to do a live workshop this May in London.
Like the doctors that you help, so who wants to build a business, do you say them to build a personal brand first through content?
So it depends on the outcome that is trying to be achieved. A personal brand is very useful for doctors. And I think that if you are amenable to that and you want to build a personal brand, I would say to the way the economy in the world, the way of the world, it makes sense to
Hmm.
build a personal brand, but it doesn't apply to everyone. Not every business requires a personal brand, and not every situation requires one. But if it does, then I absolutely can help you to build a personal brand online, which I think is going to become even more and more valuable as time goes on.
Yes. Like with the personal brand, people already know you and what you are before signing up for a business or like coaching and all. So how do you become a coach, doctor? Like how do you decide whom to coach and what is your expertise, and how do you start with, like you mentioned that GP has done the ICF coaching. So what is the first step towards becoming a coach?
I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying before about making a decision. And so you've kind of got to decide that that's something that you want to do, right? Like you, something you care about, something you want to do, and something that you want to implement. Now,
Mm.
depending on which sort of coaching you're going for, you might need a qualification to do it. You might, it depends on the type. And if it's something that you have the expertise in and you're confident in that expertise and you can get results for people, like you can prove that you can get results and you're not just, winging it, then you can, you can improve your coaching skills, and then go on, build yourself up into coaching, and then coach others. And when you clock certain number of hours, then you can basically coach other people.
And how do you measure those hours?
So it depends. If it's, for example, if you're doing the ICF, like let me use the ICF for example, you would have to have somebody who's assessing you. You would log your hours with your coach. They give you specific criteria for who you
Mhm.
can coach, what you coach them on, and what needs to come out of those sessions. And then they log how many hours you have done. The ICF, I believe, is 100 hours before you can
Yes.
apply for an assessment, to be eligible for that certification. But it depends on which coaching program it is that you're doing.
Like I have seen many doctors who are turning into coaches even on LinkedIn. So I thought, like, what is the process of it? So that's why I asked the question. So, like, I think when you want to become a coach, you should start with free coaching first, like help a friend get the results. Then you can start demanding, once you build a portfolio with some two, three people. That is my plan actually. If you know, I'm looking into it. I'm not sure as I haven't made a decision. But if I'm looking into it, I think I should start with free coaching first and get the tangible results that with my input, these results have come out. And then we can move with the paid clients.
Okay, this is your coaching session now, right? so, so I mean, that's definitely one way to do it. Um, Getting results, getting proof that you can get results is the number one thing that you want to be trying to do. And if you can do that with friends for free, then by all means go ahead before you then develop it into a consulting business or into something more formalized. So yeah, getting that feedback from your friends is absolutely one way that you can do it.
Thank you for answering that. It is not like that. It was just that not on top of my mind.
Oh no, I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Because on many LinkedIn profiles, I have seen this ICF certification, and I'm working in dental marketing from past 9 years. I have gotten those results, but it was through a service, not through coaching. So I thought, how does it differ? It was like a question in my mind. So one free resource every doctor should use to explore career options outside medicine.
One free resource that they should use to explore. I mean, I have a free resource that they can use. It's a GPT that they can download. It's on my school community. So my community is portfolio
Mm.
hyphen or dash launch.com on school, or you can find it on my LinkedIn or wherever. There's a free GPT that will help you to essentially sieve down onto where you can potentially start. If I was to recommend a book that could be read, I would say
Mm.
Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley is a good book to read, because that will help you understand where your sort of interest and where you want to be known for something lies. So yeah, those will be the two free resources.
Single best investment a doctor can make? Like they should invest their time first, or money first, or energy first?
So it depends where they are, because if you need more time, if you need more money, right? Or let's say you need more time, right? You're
Hmm.
going to need more money to get you to have more time. If you need, it's true. If you need more money, you're going to have to use time to get more money. So it depends on like what it is that you need at that particular point in time. But if, from what I kind of gather from what you're asking, to me, the most valuable thing is time. Okay, the more
Hmm.
time I have, the more energy I'm going to have. The more time I have, the more the more free I am. Because if I don't
Hmm.
have if I don't have time, I can't even make money because I don't have the time to do that. You mentioned some doctors who are really stuck and they can't do anything else outside of their job.
Hmm.
They don't have time and they don't really have money and they can't really make any more money because they don't have time. So for me, time is the most valuable asset that we all have because you can never get it back, but you can be in debt today and be a millionaire tomorrow. But the time
Yes.
you missed yesterday, you can never get back.
I think you should protect your time first. If you have the time, you need first to take the rest, come out of the burnout, and then think about the next step you want to take. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah, yeah, please. So, one thing doctors should stop doing immediately if they want to move forward.
stop procrastinating, stop overthinking, going over and over and over the decision. Just stop it, move forward, take action, and decide what it is you want. Even if that decision is, I'm deciding I don't want anything else, I just want to do medicine. Let it be a decision that you want to follow through.
So, if you were not a doctor, what would you be?
That's a good question. Um, because I'm thinking about it in two ways. One, if I wasn't a doctor, I would probably be an entrepreneur, just a full blown entrepreneur. But if I could be anything, I would probably want to be an actress. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, but I wouldn't,
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's my answer.
I think you should explore that next.
I don't know. I don't know if it might be too late for me to be an
You know,
actress now, but
you know, my,
th-
yeah, it is
yeah,
never too late. Never too late.
the thing is, I don't even know if I like it or it's just something that when I was young, it's something I wanted to do, but I never really explored it. And so I don't even know if I'll be good at it. It's just one of those things that has always been in
You
the
have to
background.
try to get it out of the system. you know,
Maybe.
yeah. My son asked me, like he's 7 years old. He asked me, "What would you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I'm already grown up, but I'm already a dentist."
That's
dentist.
funny. That is funny.
But it got me thinking. Why have a deadline for your dreams?
Absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Why have a
Yeah.
deadline for your dreams? Yeah.
So we can explore it. Even I have a lot of interest. Like I'm a writer. I'm like the marketing started as when I started with blogs, it turned into a dental marketing career, like business. So I think the curiosity and like we should not leave that behind, a child's curiosity. Another day he asked me, why are black socks preferred? And I had no answer to that. So I
Oh,
think
your son is funny. Yeah.
when we go behind the thinking, I welcome those questions. I was like, we have to encourage these curious questions. So, but this stuck with my mind. I wanted to write a LinkedIn post on it, but I'm not sure that if it works. But like, why stop on like we have maybe our half of our life is done, but we have the other half. So why not pursue it? When you're free financially. When you don't have to work for money, then you can work for your passions.
Absolutely. Sorry. I agree with you. And I think definitely post that on LinkedIn.
Well, no, I am a writer. Yeah, I used to write a lot, and that's why LinkedIn is my favorite platform. I'm not a video person. I'm like more an introvert and writer person. Today, my mother was also saying a person who would not talk a lot now is hosting the podcast. It is surprising for me. So you never know what life takes you and what next step you have to work on. So
Absolutely. And
definitely.
it's always great to play to your strengths. And, people are tend to be either video people or writer people. And it's good to see you playing to your strengths, but also not shying away from doing video as well. Because
Yeah. It
you
took
know,
me a lot of time to get in front of the camera, but
but you're
like
here.
people like it's me. Yeah. So, Dr. Nick, what is something that you're building or working on right now that you're most excited about?
So, what I'm most excited about at the moment is our live in person day, which is happening May 29th in London, which is a Friday. It's going to be a full day of strategy and a full day of portfolio operating system installation. And so, doctors get to come live and
Mm.
experience that. We have a great community of doctors within the cohort that I work with, but it's also open to doctors who are curious or want to start their journey or improve where they've already begun. So doctors who have an interest in business or career pivoting, and for how they can increase their income in a sustainable way that doesn't lead to burnout. So that's what I'm working on, a live in-person session. I've been in the event space for a few years. So I direct a music festival as well. And so
Yeah, I
um,
read on your profile, and I was like,
it,
that's what I.
And so, yeah, it's exciting. I always enjoy the planning and putting things together and creating experiences. And so I'm looking forward to that most.
Best wishes for that, Dr. Nick. So, like,
Thank
what is?
you.
I wish I was in London and I would have attended it. I'm also a business person at heart before a doctor. I'm a business heart, and I enjoy talking business with people and all. So, Dr. Nick, what was the best piece of advice you have ever received?
I think the best piece of advice I've ever received is to be unapologetically yourself. So you are the best at being you. So always be you. Because if you try and be somebody else or try and do what other people are doing, you're only going to be a counterfeit. So just stick to yourself, be authentic, and be you.
Thank you, doctor. And I would ask one last question. Like, what is the lie doctors tell themselves?
The lie doctors tell themselves is, I will start when. I will start
Yeah.
when I finish my exams. I will start when this happens. I'll start when that happens. I'll start next month. I'll start when I get a job. I'll start when my kids have gone to nursery, and then they never
Mm.
do.
And like doctor medical professions are one thing that are looped with time and building. I think you are doing a great work, trying freeing their time, freeing their money from their physical presence. I would say I would put in that way. So thank you for your time, Dr. Nick. It was a great honor to host you today.
And thank you so much for putting this together and seeing this through and putting me on this platform. I appreciate your invitation. I appreciate the thoughtful questions and organizing this and putting it together. I think you're doing a great work, and continue being you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, doctor.